to go. All right, hey everyone, Fuseman coming at you. And today, going to be building a super cool multiplayer experience. And I've got the Vive here. And you want to show the touch?
Yeah.
We got Oculus Touches here, and we're at SVVR. And Brian's gonna go ahead and give you guys an intro about that.
Hey, what's up, guys? Brian, SVVR, the community manager here. We're excited to have Fuseman hanging out with us. Hope you guys enjoy what we're going to do here. We're going to be building some awesome stuff, and we're glad to have you. So.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. Get to play around with the touch, get to play around the community. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. Yeah, we love the community. If you guys aren't members of SVVR, check us out. We're gonna throw a link down below. We throw meetups every month, so we welcome everybody, anybody. If you're building VR, you're investing in VR, or you just want to check out VR, just come on down. We'd love to have you.
Awesome.
Cool. Take it away.
Alrighty, let's play around with what we have this week. So I'm gonna fire up the touches.
Yeah.
Jump into the Vive here. Alright, cool. Vive and get my controllers on. Alright, so let me make sure you guys can see. Cool. So there he is. He's got one more controller. And you can see there, he can spawn a bunch of cubes, and once I find my other, well, I can catch cubes, and I can toss them, sort of. There we go. Smack him right in the face.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Whoop. Alright. Almost.
I missed that one.
Got it. Barely. Nope.
There's one. There's one.
Nice. Alright. And I clearly can't throw for the life of me. Nope.
Tough to catch some of them.
Yeah, I think they're like a lot of
You're
cubes.
throwing pretty
Oh,
fast.
there we
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. It's a bit of lag because we have a ton of cubes flying around
Yeah.
everywhere, but alright, there we go. Yeah, so there's a bit of lag, but still, I think works extremely well, and this is hopefully we can get a lot of people following along and get some people into these experiences too, because it worked really well in the cardboard networking demo that we did a while back. So with that, Abdo's in the chat if you guys want to talk about modeling, 3D models, anything like that. And Hassan, who I guess I didn't introduce you. So here's Hassan. He's helping out today. We both went to Stanford together and both part of the Rabbit Hole VR Club. So super excited to be working together on this.
Yeah, totally.
And
so if you have any questions, just shoot them into the chat, and I'll be sure to help out.
Yeah, and he's also really. We might see him a lot more with some HoloLens stuff. So get excited about that stuff soon. All right, so with that set, drop these down, move this down here, and exit out. So let me drop this back into game view here, and as always, gonna hop into a new project, and let's call this multiplayer live stream, and we're gonna drop that on the desktop and create. And also a huge shout out to StoneFox for, we're going to be using the VR toolkit, so that's an amazing asset that is basically along for the grabbing. So if you have questions, I don't know if he's in the chat, but super cool guy, and definitely make sure to check that toolkit out because it's a great resource. So jumping into the asset store for just to get everything we want. So first thing I'm going to do is get SteamVR, and where's my mouse? All right, SteamVR plugin. Go ahead, import that plugin in.
And do you want me to link to the YouTube link or the main site?
For the site, yeah.
The site?
Yeah, that should be on Reddit, I think. And yeah, that's the one with the chat on it.
Okay.
Let's go ahead, import that in. Just give that a second. I have like a list open off on the side of, there are like 5 different assets that we're going to be using. So accept that, and just get the chat a bit lively. Let's talk a little bit about Oculus Connect.
Yeah.
Oh, what was your favorite experience, Hassan?
Oh man. So definitely everyone needs to try Notes on Blindness if you haven't tried it already. I think you can try it on a gear and get it maybe for free. But another one to try out is Eagle Flight. God, so good. So good. What
Eagle
did you
Flight.
think, Hassan?
A lot of them were like first-person shooters, and like once you get into it, it's like really cool. Like
Yeah.
we rocked at what was it called? Dead and Buried.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were wrecking Dead and Buried, and what was the other one? Lone Echo.
Lone Echo.
Lone Echo. Lone Echo was amazing. That Ender's Game feel is so cool. Like
Yeah.
I think you definitely do need an iron stomach for that though.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing.
A little bit tough to get oriented, but once you get used to it, it's a bit better.
Yeah. So here, getting Photon Unity Networking, which is just a really awesome SDK to use for getting your network interface. They give you like a free license that you can use for connecting 20 players concurrently. And it also supports voice chat, which is, I think, the biggest reason to use this over like Unity networking. So just go ahead and import that in, and we will skip that for now. We don't need that. And then we want pun voice. So pun voice, sorry, not, let's go with photon voice. That's the more explicit name. So that's the third asset we're going to be using. I guess I have to update. So wait for that for a little bit. The other ones, if you want a nice environment, we're going to be using the hand-painted forest, which is, I think, a really awesome environment to just immerse yourself in. And then the other we have, and then the last thing is the VR toolkit. So let's just get those, and then we can go ahead and get started. And I should open up the chat. That's a thing that I'm going to be doing. Choose over. Tried horror VR. I've tried Sisters. I don't know.
Sisters. Oh man, there's one really good game. Gosh, what is it called? Just find the name of it. It's another Gear one.
Gear one.
A Gear VR horror game. Oh, Dread Halls was one of them.
Oh, I haven't tried Dread Halls though.
But that's not the one that I'm thinking about. It's one of those like mystery room type games. But there were times like they talked about a few at Connect too. I don't remember the names of those.
Yeah, I don't.
Dead Secret.
I didn't try that either.
It's pretty solid. Definitely
Dead
made
Secret.
me scream one time.
Scream like Palmer.
Not quite that much. More of a little yelp.
Nice. Yeah, the Palmer's one is very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then I think the last one before we get started is the hand-painted forest. I'm just gonna do all of our imports right now, just so we don't have to worry about that in the future. There we go, hand-painted forest. Really? I guess that's cool. I appreciate updates. Updates are always nice.
Yeah, someone wants an update on the Udacity VR course.
Oh, Udacity VR. It's coming. I can't say much about deadlines, but definitely I'm excited for it. We still have a bit more work to do, and we'll see it soon. That's what I told someone on Reddit. We will see it soon. Like that much I can promise. And yeah, I'm definitely super excited about getting that out to there as soon as we can. And yeah, so hand-painted forest. I'm surprised that even when updated, it's an old version, but whatever. I'm also running Unity 5.4.1. Just it doesn't really matter for Photon, but that's just something to keep in mind. And let me just check the notes real quick. I think I got everything that I need. Okay, and here's a quick thing. So we're going to be using the Vive models, and to get those, you can actually. So I'm just going to go to the File Explorer here, and I'll also post a link here for where you can find your Vive models. So that's where mine are. And you let me just type that in here real quick. So if you go to that or somewhere similar on your own Windows app, Windows box, there are a bunch of different models here that you can use for your own personal projects. We're going to be using the VR controller Vive 1.5, I guess is what it is. And we'll show that in Explorer. Go to Assets. I'm just going to copy and paste that in. And so that's the actual Vive models without having to go through any of those scripts. So that's super cool. Oh, we got the Stone Fox in? Because that would be dope. And yeah, so that's pretty much all of the importing in. I know that took a bit of time, but I definitely want to just show everything from scratch of what exactly we're going to be using. So for Unity Net or Photon networking, what we're going to be doing is if you go to Photon Unity Networking resources and then go into the Photon server settings, that's pretty much where you post all of the server settings that you want. So for the purpose of the tutorial, we're going to use Photon Cloud, but you can also have a bunch of different options as far as like hosting it yourself, offline mode, whatever you want. So I'm going to go ahead, set Photon Cloud up. There's also a process that like kind of walks you through the whole thing, but we don't really have to worry about that for now. So the region is the US, and if you create an account, then you can automatically just go in and set up your own app ID, and then once you have an app ID, plug that into Unity. I actually already gone ahead and set that up for us, so this is what I was using to show it off at the beginning. So you're going to go ahead, get the app ID here, and let me also post that in the chat. If you guys want to use it, feel free to use it. If we get more than 20 people, like, we'll figure something out, but I think that's a good problem to have because you're only allowed 20 people on the free account. And also, let me also show off the voice. So there's a voice app ID. I'm going to first plug my app ID into the Photon server settings. And then here is the voice ID. Here we go. So that I just put the voice ID in the chat. So if you want to use those, feel free to do that. And same thing with Photon server settings. You can go ahead and just update your voice app ID, and that'll work. You can also, there are a bunch of RPCs in here. I'm just going to go ahead and clear them because we don't need them. But if that's like the right place to put that type of stuff. So now that we have the server settings set up, we should be able to connect to the server and then create a room. So we are actually going to start writing some scripts to actually do that. So first thing we're going to want to do is create a network manager, which is just going to be our script that handles the network. And all it's really going to do is just be like a giant instant class that's always there and is basically going to allow for us to, like, as soon as we hit play, we're going to join the server, connect to a random room, and then be able to all be in that same room is the goal that we're going for here. And this is going to be heavily based off of this utility script here called connect and join random room. So for the most part, just gonna go ahead and copy all of this right here. Go ahead, put that into our network manager. And now we're obviously going to update this because there's a lot of stuff that we don't need. And particularly, they do this movement and update. I'm just going to go ahead and copy that and put it in start because that's just a lot simpler. And let's go ahead and do that. Version, sure. That's all fine and dandy there. So that's start. So what that line does is basically connects us to the server so that we should eventually, once we connect to the server, we'll get called into onConnected to master. And actually, we can go ahead and try this right now just to see if we get these debug logs set up in here. First thing we got to do is actually just go ahead and save our scene. So I'm going to call this networked scene. We'll add in the fun forest a little later, but just going to go ahead and do that. And I should also mention, if you followed along with the cardboard networking thing that I did a while back, a lot of these steps are really similar. So It might be a little repetitive, but it's mostly the same. And so then the other thing we have to do, where did my script go? That's the real question. Network manager.cs. It's got to be somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. Network. Oh, okay. I put that in Photon. Anything happen in the chat?
Nope.
Gucci.
Attentively watching.
Well, let's see. What else do you want to talk about from Oculus? While we're just about to just quickly test this out.
Gosh, well, it was interesting. I mean, they say that they're going to be doing a lot to fund more content creation of all sorts. Games,
Yeah.
social experiences, diversity stuff, films. Just, I mean, we don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but they talked about millions of dollars that they're going to be pouring into content creation.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll be grants, prizes, competitions. I don't know, but keep an eye out for those.
Yeah, and I don't know how much how much exclusivity they're gonna make, but well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just go. Oops, I have okay. Let's see public web version. I'm just gonna type one here, just get rid of that ambiguity. That should hopefully. Assuming I didn't delete anything else. I'm just trying to clear out a bunch of this stuff that we don't need. Oh, here's the problem. Network Manager is already in use. So let's just go ahead and quickly just call it Net Manager. Sometimes you try to be too explicit and then and then you run into issues like that. Also, I guess since not many people know you, you want to talk about like some of your own background and
Yeah, sure.
stuff you've done?
Yeah, so Vasant introduced me a little bit before. Not sure if I'm in frame right now, but hi, I'm Hassan.
Yeah,
Yeah, we worked together at Stanford on our Rabbit Hole VR group. Have worked on some really cool hackathon projects together too.
Stupid Cupid.
Yeah. So on Valentine's Day, we made a Valentine-themed VR project using the Vive. I think we had just got our hands on one that day, and we used it at the hackathon. So we've worked on tons of projects, but we're both excited about helping everybody learn more about how to build. So, I mean, that's why I'm here helping out today. More of my specific background, I was part of a program at Oculus called the Launchpad. It was another one of those grant types of programs that I'm talking about, where you get to work on different projects. You know, there were filmmakers, people wanted to build games, people wanted to build scary experiences. So if anyone has questions about like those Oculus initiatives, definitely happy to try and help out with that. And then another cool thing was one time I got my hands on a HoloLens and got to prototype some projects with that. So we'll definitely be thinking about if we can like turn one of those into something that we can live stream. So it'd be cool to show you all that stuff too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Nice,
One
dude.
thing that would be cool is everyone on the chat, if you're interested, let us know like what are you excited about building with VR? You know, is it games, movies, simulations, experiences? If you let us know in the chat, we can tell you more about what we saw at Connect and what some new cool stuff might be to keep your eye on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll definitely say I'll be honest, I was a little disappointed that there were so many FPSs.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to see some other cool stuff.
There are definitely, like, even with demos, there were a lot of first-person shooters. And, I mean, there were some different things. Like, anything that was different was really exciting.
Okay, why am I... Okay, now here's the real question. What have I been changing? Oh, I've been changing the network manager, not the... Apologies on this. Visual Studio's confused me with the wrong file. Alright, so let's just go ahead and copy that in, and then just call this actually the network manager, which is the other file that I was unconsciously editing. So, note to self, don't use the word network manager. It's bad. It's a bad name to use. Hopefully now that should resolve things. Let me jump back into Unity here, and hopefully this updates. Please. Yeah, okay, cool. Cool. We're good to go. Let's just make sure that we get the logs that we want for connecting to.
Someone said when you renamed the network manager, you also renamed something else. I don't know.
Oh, maybe. I think
We'll see. A bug might pop up.
a bug might pop up. Hopefully not. All right, so we can see here, it's not. We got the unconnected to master. We got on photon random join failed because there was no room to join. And then voice connected, and then we joined a random room, or we joined a room because we actually created a room. So those are the logs we want to see, and that's perfect. Just make sure, do not call it the network manager, because Photon already has one. So that's cool. And I guess while we're here, we'll also set this up for SteamVR. Let's go ahead, go to prefabs, get the camera rig. Just delete this main camera because we don't need it, and put the Vive. You wanna test on, make sure that the head and stuff is working?
The Vive?
Yeah, the Vive.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Let's go ahead and hit play there. Make sure. Looks like it is. Yep.
Definitely move around.
Yeah. So there's obviously nothing there yet, but time to now that we have the Vive working, we have the networking working. It's time to actually spawn some stuff. So for that, what we're going to need to do is go ahead and let's just go ahead and create a cube for the head. I'm going to make this like 0.5, 0.5, 0.5 for the scale, just so that it's not crazy. And we'll zero out the position, and that's going to represent our head there. And let's go ahead and just call this avatar for now. And so one thing we have to add here to make this actually work is photon voice, sorry, not photon voice, photon view, right there. So that's going to represent our view for basically whenever we spawn it using photonnetwork.instantiate, we're going to be able to use this, and it's going to be tracked across all of the connected instances. The next thing we want to add is a photon transform view. There we go. Because we're using the Vive and basically positionally tracked room scale VR, we're going to also synchronize the position and synchronize rotation. And I'm going to go ahead, move that into observed component. And that basically is just going to track any movements that happen to our cube and whoever created it, then get transferred over to all of the other people watching. So that could be on the Rift, that can be on SteamVR. Those are like, if we use the same code base, those are the two things that are going to be supported. You can also get this to work with Cardboard if you don't have one of those, and you'll just have to switch up some of the things, like instead of using Camera Rig, you're going to be using the Cardboard SDK. Or I guess Daydream when that comes out. I'm so excited for Daydream.
Yes. I'm gonna get the red one.
The red? Dude.
Yeah, what color are you getting?
What? The red one?
The red one, man. Stanford. Go Card.
But that one did not look good.
But it's red.
Fair enough. So, okay, cool. We now have our avatar. It's represented by a cube. We'll add in the model a little bit later, which is, I actually haven't seen the Pikachu yet. Abda gave it to me like 30 minutes ago. So I haven't had a chance to integrate it, but I'm excited to see it. The next thing we're going to do is just create a prefabs folder. And this is going to house our avatar, basically. And we're going to create a folder in here, call that resources. And so it needs to be spelled exactly like that, resources, with a capital, I think the capital R is resources. Yeah, capital R is important, and so is the S. And this is how Photon knows to basically, oh, this is the type of instance that we want to basically use in spawning things across multiple variants of our app scenes.
Update from Abdo. Said that he's uploading the 3D bomb model.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Data.
That we can.
Thanks, Abdo.
That's super cool. Yeah, I benefit here right now is that you get to watch the chat and I don't have to.
Yeah. There's lots of stuff in here too, so
Nice.
let me know whenever we got a second to talk about some of it.
I mean, well, let's talk about it now.
Okay, sure. So like a few questions have popped up. Someone asked about Magic Leap. I think that's Jay Falcon.
Okay.
Definitely, we have Fuseman and I have both heard of it and looked into it too. One of our friends actually interned there.
If you want to pop in.
And they have some really cool stuff. Obviously, he couldn't tell us too much about it because of NDAs and all that. But he's really excited about what they're making.
Yeah.
So Magic Leap is super awesome. A lot of you guys are also talking about questions about like cool, creative things that like show like unique and vivid imaginations. I would definitely like. I don't know who here has tried out Blark, but I've heard good things about that.
I think I have it, so we can
Yeah.
pop into that.
So I haven't actually tried it. What do
We'll
think
get you
about
into it. We'll get you into it
Okay,
in like 30
cool.
minutes for the break.
But I've seen videos and like heard cool stuff, so I would check that out. Irrational Exuberance from Weaver. I got to try it just actually maybe 2 days ago, and I liked that one. It wasn't a game; it's more of like an interactive experience. That was really cool too.
Nice.
And then Notes on Blindness. Try it. The premise of it is a guy had these diaries about when he was going blind, like he was losing his sight.
Yeah.
And they were just trying to visualize with VR what he was seeing as he was going blind, and so they're like kind of stylizing what the world looks like or feels like to
Nice.
someone that's blind. It's just very creatively interesting. I'll post some links to some of these.
Yeah, definitely do that. Because I need to check out Notes on Blindness. That's a thing. All right, cool. So yeah, if you have other questions, also I think like one thing that works really well is if like people start talking about projects that they work on.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people want to know what other people in the community are working on and potentially find partners to work on with it. And then that's, I think, one of the really cool things that we want to help facilitate. So post those in the chat as well, because I think that'll be awesome. But jumping back to this, so now that we've set up our avatar head, let's get that networked across two different instances. So we got avatar here, its transform is set. I'm just going to go ahead and drag that into our resources here. And then the next thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and now that we have that set up, jump back into the code, and we don't need that variable, so I'm just going to say public game object head prefab. Or I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but let's just call it head prefab there. And go ahead and once we join a room, what we're gonna do is go ahead and call photon network dot instantiate. I'm gonna call it head prefab dot name, and what we're gonna do is so the other things we need to provide it are position, rotation, and then the group. So group is just like the group of like things. It's kind of like a layer in like this traditional sense of like how you would edit a scene. So you have layers to like say group avatars, and then you have a layer to group cubes, that type of thing. So that's what's happening there. And for our purpose, we're just going to put everything on the 0th layer. But we do need to provide a position and rotation. And those are basically going to be from the Vive itself, but we don't actually have a reference to that. So I'm going to actually comment this line out for now because we actually need to come back to it once we create what I like to call a Vive manager. So let's go ahead and do that. So jumping back into here, let's create another script. Let's call this the Vive manager. Classic. Decides to... Man, my computer feels a little sluggish today. I don't know why. Alright, Vive Manager. And let's go ahead, reload those. The name is wrong also. That's fine. Alright, Vive Manager. Cool. So we got the Vive Manager here. We're gonna go ahead and then just create a bunch of game objects for the head. Public game. Whoops, I can't type. Game object left hand, public game object right hand. So we got head, left hand, right hand. So those are just going to be for the Vive. And then we're also going to go ahead and put public static Vive manager instance. And so that's basically our singleton. I guess, yeah, our singleton for controlling the Vive. So we can always go Vive manager.instance.head, and we would have access to that globally throughout our project. And that's the really powerful thing about like sharing data across multiple scripts is if you have singletons like this, and you can just go ahead and access them. So I'm just going to go ahead and create. Oh, actually, we don't. This doesn't need. I'm just going to do this on awake. It's going to be if instance equals null, instance equals this, and then void on destroy if instance equals this, instance equals null. And let's just clean up for the on destroy part. And so we actually don't really even need any of the methods here. We can use them if you want, but we're not, right now we don't need them. And so this is what's going to allow us to get access to our head and left hand, right hand, whatever we really need. So at this point, I'm just going to dump this onto the camera rig. You can create your own object or really whatever you want. Come on, just drag and drop that. And so we just have to fill out the head, left hand, right hand. So let's do that. So head, left, and right. Cool. So now once we have that set up, that's always going to be accessible, and we can jump back into our N manager. I would have called it Net Manager, but now it's called the N manager. And for this, what we're going to do is Vive manager dot instance dot head dot transform dot position. So I know that's a lot, but that gets us access to the head. And same deal for the rotation. And then we just provide the group. So at that point, let's go ahead and give this a test, just to make sure. You want to jump into the Vive?
Yeah, let's try it out.
All right, just pick that up. And oops, I need to get rid of the avatar here because we don't need that. So I'm just going to delete that since we already have the prefab. And we should, in theory, oops, I forgot to put the head prefab. You should, a cube should spawn on your face, pretty much is what's going to happen. Let's go to here, our network manager. Let's go to prefabs, resources, and then we're just going to drag and drop our avatar head there. All right. So, and once it connects, all right, cool. So now if you step away from that.
Step away from what?
Yeah.
Oh,
there you go.
There
You
we
see
go.
the cube?
Inside of the cube.
Yeah. So what's
There it is.
happening here is we've spawned the cube. It's, if you have been following along, which might be hard, we've been taking breaks to just allow people to catch up, but still, I'd imagine there's definitely a lot here, and we'll take a bigger break just to have people catch up if they need to. But what happened here is we have our cube as a prefab, and then we instantiated it, and that's basically it popped in wherever his head was, and at the same rotation, basically.
So here.
But the problem is obviously it's not following him. So we basically need to create a copy script, which is what we did last time. So let's go ahead and do that. So like we did last time, let's go to C# copy script. And let's go ahead and pop that open. And so for this one, we're just going to call it a photon dot mono behavior. And this is really similar to a normal mono behavior. You have all of that, but you also have some additional perks like the photon view, which is what we're going to be using. So pretty much here in update, what we're going to do is if photon view dot is mine, we're going to say transform dot position equals Vive manager dot instance dot transform. Sorry, not instance, dot head dot transform dot position, and same thing for rotation. And let's just go ahead and do that. Transform dot rotation. Rotation. All right. So now I'm just gonna quickly jump in.
Got it working?
So, or actually, I'm not gonna jump in. I just wanna. So, oh, I need to add the
Follow
copy script
rotation, like,
for like that one frame, but I forgot. The other thing we need to do is actually add the copy script. All right, copy script. Let's go. So now that we have the copy script in, there we go. So now you can see. I don't see the cube because I'm actually inside the cube, but it's like fully tracking the cube relative to the head. So now that we basically have the network manager set up right here. So that's set up, and I'm wondering. So yeah, so the next thing we have to do is actually go ahead and set up the hands. How are we doing on time? Oh, it's only 10:36.
Yeah. There's
Oh.
some stuff in the.
Yeah, let's take a break now and
So first of all, I want to give a shout out. Gap Mindful posted what looks like a pretty cool project. You guys should check it out. Especially anyone who likes Legos should look at that.
and I know you love Legos. Yeah,
It looks like sort of like, it reminds me of like kind of like a Oculus Medium type thing, but like with a more blocky aesthetic to it. So it's pretty cool. You guys should check
I'm
out
just
the
gonna
link
pull it
that
up
he
right
posted.
now. I'm not gonna add.
Yeah,
and
do
I'll
you see
remove
it
the
on there?
sound. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
He's drawing somebody, or they're drawing someone surfing there. So it looks pretty awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
That is pretty cool.
Let's see.
This reminds me a lot of Sculptor VR, but
Yeah,
it's a slightly different aesthetic to it, and I do like that rotation stuff.
yeah,
It's like this like blend between like Minecraft and Oculus Medium.
yeah, totally. Just call it Lego VR.
Lego VR.
So let's see. There was also stuff about someone asked Milan Vogelar asked about simulators, specifically training simulators
Mhm.
at Connect. I don't think we saw any. Do you remember any?
No, not really.
I mean,
I don't know.
there's
Did
some.
you see any training simulators or anything like that?
No, they were just like all mostly game demos and content. Nothing
Yeah.
like actual like simulations like the augmented reality, the analog training simulations there.
Yeah, sure.
Nothing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, with AR, there's like, well, I guess they're not simulators, but a lot of people are doing like job training or job
Right.
assistance, like DAQRI.
Yeah.
I can't think of anywhere else. There's also lots of like surgical simulations on like VR experiences. I don't remember the names, but
Yeah, there's
they
that one like
definitely-
Air VR. There's that surgical
Yeah.
like VR. It was like OR in VR, I think is what it's called.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
That's what it was, right?
OR in VR.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay.
Okay.
And then job simulator.
I
Well,
guess.
in case that was there.
Let's see what else people ask. I think that might be it for now.
Cool. Yeah. If you have links to projects, I want to see them. Like
Oh,
I think-
NASA stuff.
NASA?
Yes, they followed up and asked about NASA stuff. They mentioned something about a NASA project. But I didn't try anything. They didn't have it there to demo.
Yeah.
Most of what was demoed was games.
Yeah.
So not too much in terms of trying out simulations.
But yeah. If you have links to stuff that maybe something would jog our memory. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, definitely. If you have other questions, post in the chat, and I want to see more projects. Show me, definitely show other people projects that you're working because it's really cool. But yeah, now that we have our cube-like avatar set up, let's actually go ahead and might as well let's pull in that Pikachu. I want to see what it looks like because I haven't gotten a chance to. I have it locally, but I think Abdo said that there should be a link to that on the webpage. Oh, nice. We're going for this like Converge-esque look, so we'll see how that goes. But cool. So now let me just go ahead, drag that in. Oops. let's just move that off to reset. So I think looks like this model was set in centimeters, so that's why it's scaled to 100. But that's fine. It's a little small, so let's maybe go, I don't know, 20 by 20 by 20. Yeah, let's focus in on that. Cool. All right. Oh, looks cute. I like it. Do you see this?
What's up?
That's Pikachu.
Oh, nice.
That Abdo made.
Way to go, Abdo.
Yeah, that looks awesome. Let's make it a little bigger. But I dig it. I definitely dig it.
Yeah.
Hopefully Pokemon doesn't sue our ass, but
Yeah.
that's fine. Nice. All right, so let's just go ahead and quickly add in our Pikachu to our avatar head. So I think size-wise looks about right. Yeah, it's a little smaller, but that's fine. So for this, just gonna go ahead, drag Pikachu underneath. Gonna disable our mesh renderer. Get rid of the box collider because we don't need that also. And then just rotate our Pikachu to face forward, which is, yeah, okay, so forward is 90 degrees this way, so like that. So this is set to 270, and on the Y and Z, let's go 0, 0, 0. So that's what we're using here for the transform. And then I'm just going to go ahead, hit apply there, so that we have the Pikachu saved into here, the correct transform. And the nice thing here is that we're modifying the transform rotations and stuff on the avatar upper parent object, and then that just the rendering is happening on the child, which is perfect for us. So next thing we want to do is just do pretty much the same thing we did for the head. We want to do that for the left and right hand. So we'll go ahead into here, and we have our controller. And so what I'm going to do is just drag this into the scene. And this, I think, so yeah, there we go. So there's the controller. And we just have to apply the material, and I believe, yeah, perfect. We just have to apply the material, and there we go. We have our Vive controller. So that's all set up. Right scale and everything like that, as I'm used to seeing a giant controller in my face. And so now just go ahead, drag our avatar in here again, but this time I'm going to modify it so that instead we have the controller in here. I'm going to delete the Pikachu, which breaks the prefab instance, so we don't have to worry about that. And then the only thing we have to do, so this is all correct. This is all correct. We'll call this left, or we'll just call it a hand. We don't even have to worry about left hand, right hand. So go ahead, call that a hand, and then just drag that in again into our resources. So go ahead, delete the hand from the scene, but we have the Vive controller set up in there, so that's cool. And so with that, we have a hand. We'll just go back into our script. Go into here, going for, let's go to, sorry, not Vive Manager. This thing is pretty much set, and then we go into our Network Manager. I'm going to go ahead, add a prefab for our hand. So let's call this hand prefab. And once we do that, we jump into onJoined room. What we're going to do here is just instantiate 2 for our hands. So hand prefab, and then the last thing we got to do is just left hand for our left hand, and then right hand for our right hand. Oops. Let's call this right hand. Cool. So that's for left and right hand, and let's just hop back into here, let it compile, which I don't know why it's taking that long to compile some small changes, but oh well. And then yeah, just go ahead, jump back into our hand prefab. So avatar hand, and then save that. Now let's try that out.
Yeah.
jump into the Vive. Alright. Cool. Go. And I'm gonna go ahead and play. We're gonna have the same issue as the head is gonna track fine, but then we have our hands that we should just see in one spot, unless it's I have the copy scripts on the okay, that's probably uncomfortable. Let me quickly get rid of the copy script actually. So everything is tracking the head as opposed to our hands. So that's the thing we want to change. But we should have controllers that spawn in the right place. One thing we'll see right now, right away, is that the hands are rotated 180 degrees in the wrong direction. So we can quickly fix that by just going ahead and going on the controller. If I remember correctly, it should just be 180 degrees. Yeah, it's just 180 degrees in the Y. Not really sure why that's the case, but sure. Whoops, I didn't save, but 180 degrees there, and then let's go ahead and hit play one more time. So that should just spawn controllers approximately where your hands were. Yeah, so you can see those. Yep. And so yeah, so two controllers approximately in the same place. The only thing left to do is just go ahead and actually just modify our copy scripts to basically keep track of our controller hands. And at that point, we basically have everything networked in the right way.
Nice.
So let's go ahead and do that, and then we're going to take a break, see if anyone catches up, and then we will go ahead and we would actually probably be able to try like with the old scene that we had and see if we can get that networking happening. So let's go ahead, modify our copy script. And for this, what we're going to actually do is I'm just going to provide a public int index. Let's just call it index for lack of a better word. I'm going to set this to 0. Actually set it to 1. And so what we're going to say is we're just going to do a switch on it. So switch index case 1 break. So if you're familiar with programming, switch is another variant of if, but just a nicer way to do it if you have multiple cases. So just gonna go ahead here. We're gonna just call case 1 is gonna be the head. Oops. Ooh, come on. Case 1 is gonna be the head. Case 2 is gonna be the left hand, and case 3 is gonna be the right hand. Just go ahead and do that, and then just call this hand. So let's leave some comments here, just that we don't have to read. Sorry, left and right. So I'm going to get rid of start. And yeah, so that's pretty much the photon view is mine for copying the hand movements. We can just now go back to our prefabs resources, and at this point we actually might want, we can do one of two things. I'm just gonna actually just create another prefab for the right hand, and we'll just call this right hand. It's probably the simplest way to do it. And then we'll go for one for the left hand, and then we have one for the avatar. So now we can go copy script, index is going to be 1 there. Let's add a copy script for 2. And then let's add a copy script for the right hand, which is going to be 3. So that's that pretty much. We just have to update our network manager really fast to have the right hand prefab as well. So let's just do that. Go in here. And we'll go with left hand and right hand copy. Oops. Right hand. And at this point, why don't we give it a shot? Oh wait, I have to wait for the network manager to compile. Assuming I saved. I did save. Okay. Cool. So we have left hand, right hand. Just gonna drag and drag. Cool. And let's
Give it a shot.
give it a shot. Make sure everything looks right in the scene view. Clone spawned. We got a nice Pikachu head in there, flying around. Yeah, doesn't look like you see the Pikachu, and the hands are copying. So at this point, if you have the scripts, we should be able to get someone else in here. Actually, you want me to jump into the Vive, and then you
Yeah.
wanna
There you go. You can also take some of these things
Uh,
that are popping up.
also
Chat.
is it jump into? You wanna
Oh,
jump into the
this-
Rift?
yeah, sure.
See if we can.
Let's do it.
In theory, I should just be in my empty world, and he should be in a colorful world. But we're about to find out.
Yeah.
You in?
Getting in right now.
Oops. I accidentally pressed this. Let's see the controllers. Oh, the names might be different, which is maybe why. I can also try copying over. I think I do hear you though.
Yep, I'm in.
You're in?
Yep.
Do you see me there? Might be a one-way thing.
I'm looking for a Pikachu.
No, because that one doesn't have the Pikachu model.
Oh,
But
okay. Yeah, I don't see anyone else here yet.
okay, so we might be. I'm wondering. Okay, there might be something I'm forgetting that's causing that to happen. In theory, we should both be able to see each, or at least I should have seen the head, but I don't see your avatar popping up. Let me think. So you're calling. So on that finished version, you're calling instantiate. Actually, wait, do you see? No, you don't see me there. Oh, you know what it is? It's because I say the connect with settings are wrong. Can you open up the network manager on there? I just want to copy the exact same settings to connect with settings there, because so this is the thing that needs to be exactly the same.
Connect with.
Version 1.0.
Yeah.
So I need to type in there 1.0.
What was it before?
Was like one space dot.
Oh.
It was like something weird. Let's try that again now. Debugging on the go.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm in. Hopefully should now maybe see another Pikachu?
Don't yet.
No, okay, so something else.
Before we were able to see it around there.
Right. Let me think. What else could be off? I noticed my phone. Let's see, so photon, virtual. So I'm gonna get rid of that because we don't need it. Connect with settings. I want to pull up that script again. I just want to make sure.
Get it here.
Alright,
I think
join
that's
the
the only
room.
It's hard coded. There is a max players count.
That
That
should
shouldn't
be
be a problem
good.
right now.
Ideally, only 2 people.
Yeah.
Ideally.
I could send you this if you want to copy it in.
On failed to connect. Because we're both connected. We're just connected to different. And it was versions just straight up 1.0, right?
1.0, yeah.
And I'm using connect with settings.
But let me check.
I mean, it could just be the names are off, which is confusing it.
Like what is the name of the prefabs?
Which ones?
It's avatar, left hand, right hand. So those names are the same, and those names are super important. In worst case, I can just USB those over to you, and then we can have it running there. That's literally what I did with. My face looks weird with the Vive on. That's what I did with the. That's what I did with the current version that we have set up, is that I just literally just sent it over, which we can do. It might be like the Pikachu's and stuff. And it's also it's prefabs resources. Maybe I spelled that wrong.
Where?
Prefabs resources.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so how are we doing? So 10:56. We're definitely connected. It's just not automatically spawning. How about this? Let me grab the USB real fast, and then we'll just send that over to the other computer. Definitely make sure everything is set up correctly, because this is a good testing point, that's for sure. And plug that in. Actually, I have no idea if I'm in frame or not. Yeah, cool. Move this here just slightly. Alright. So for this guy, I'm just going to show an Explorer, and we'll just copy over the current version to the USB. Just go ahead and paste that in.
Check region.
Yeah, I want to check. Maybe I just sent over the wrong.
Weird, I can't see what would be
Resources. It's 1BB, right? For the you gotta that resources, and then click on
1B
or 1BA.
A
1BA 7. Yeah, okay, those are the same. UDP is the same. US. Yeah, those look right. Well, we'll just copy it over, and then that should definitely work.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. I think probably a name is off somewhere,
Yeah.
and instead of actually trying to figure out that name, might as well just copy everything over and then get that to work. We won't be able to throw cubes just yet, but it's definitely a start to say that we have the Rift and the Vive connected to each other. But are there any other questions I got?
Yeah, there's tons of stuff we can talk about here.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do that while that's copying.
Let's see, let me go back to the top of where this all started. So, someone on a guest account, you guys should add in cool names. Someone talked about a WebVR project that they're working on. That's really cool.
Nice.
Something relevant from Connect is that Oculus announced React VR, which is a framework that they have for building WebVR projects. So check out React VR. There's also React.js, which is supposed to be really cool. But I don't
they're
use
supposed to be
much
the same.
of
I don't use it. I'll be honest, like for me, like WebVR, it really doesn't make too much sense to use React VR, because you can use Unity to put out a WebGL project.
Totally.
And I think the workflow in Unity is just a lot better and a bit more optimized. But I mean, if you're super familiar with JavaScript, then that might be a solution for you.
Yeah.
That said, Unity also supports JavaScript.
Yeah,
so.
totally. But in case you guys want to like go with like native stuff for the web, they have React VR, and also some VR browser that they're working on called Carmel. So whoever posted about the WebVR project, definitely check those things out. Let's see, what else was there? People talked about like using the face camera on cardboard for eye tracking.
Let's
and
talk about that.
Yeah, we've started like a little bit of a technical discussion, it looks like, about why that's not possible right now and what to look into in the future. Something that you might want to check out again from Connect is that towards the last like 15 minutes of the opening keynote, I think it was, Michael Abrash, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
The chief scientist there, he talked about his thoughts on like the next 5 years of VR and AR, where he thinks everything's going, how eye tracking might work out or how it won't work. So check out those last 15 minutes or just any talk that you can see from him from Connect, because he talks about a lot of what he thinks about the future. What do you think about eye tracking?
So, are eye tracking or face tracking, or like AR with the front-facing camera? Or
let's do both.
So one thing, I don't think Andrew Nakas is here, but he actually brought this up when we were talking about the Daydream announcements that were happening earlier this week. And what he said was, if you look at the Daydream viewer design, when you put your phone in, both cameras are blocked. So as in regards to like, you're not going to have Tango or, we can skip that file. You're not going to be able to, you can't expect like Tango or like positional tracking anytime soon with Daydream/Cardboard, which kind of sucks. There is some toggles in there for positional tracking, I think with the Unity SDK, but and I can't imagine, at least in the first iteration of Daydream, we're not going to see positional tracking, which kind of sucks, but I guess that's that. As far as like the eye tracking, I don't think the front-facing camera can see your eyes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's that one headset. I think they call it Fove. Maybe?
Yeah, Fove has it, which I think is cool.
Haven't tried it out, obviously, but like that's a cool concept if they're working on it. And then for like motion-based tracking, they like teased a very short video of a standalone headset that they say they're working on at Oculus. Really nothing like too substantial was shown, but they did say that it's an area that they're excited about. So that's something to pay attention to also.
I really love the idea of a standalone headset, but their video that they showed was like, we're going to show you 10 seconds of a headset that looks like a Rift.
Yeah.
And that's like, we're not sure if it's a Rift or not, and they photoshopped out the out the cord, but
it's something to keep an eye on to see like where they go with that. Seems pretty early.
Go ahead and plug that in.
Oh yeah, also A-Frame.
Oh, yeah.
If you guys haven't checked it out, be sure to check that out too. Thanks for sharing that, Andre. I think that's most of the stuff so far. Someone else. Oh, someone also posted about like VR versions of classic Pokemon games. There's like a huge excitement, I think, generally just for taking like existing things, like cool brands or like nostalgic things, and putting them into VR, AR. An exciting thing from Connect that I remember was they talked about a partnership with Disney to make some like Disney like interactive experiences or films. That'll be really cool to watch out for.
Yeah. I think the hint of it is like Trials of Tatooine. That we saw on Steam VR, but I guess some more Star Wars stuff is what I see happening in the near future.
Yeah.
Expect a lot more Star Wars stuff.
That'll be fun. I think what's that? It's called like Rogue One, I think, is the like spin-off from The Force Awakens. There's a new Star Wars movie coming out.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a VR portion.
There's
like,
gotta
for sure. So I'm excited to see that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're good with everything from the chat.
Cool. You wanna go ahead, get that started, and then I'm gonna open up Blarp to just
load this. Or
just go ahead and load that. I just wanna make sure that we can say for sure that the Rift and the Vive are connected over the network. And in the meantime, I'm gonna open up Blarp so that we can get you in and get your first impressions of it.
Blarp?
Blarp.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Let's hear these.
Alright.
Check this thing. I don't know if there's an extra USB. Oh, yeah, there is.
There always is. Grab some water real fast. Just not looking.
What's it say?
Multiplayer live stream. It's that just that folder. Just go ahead and drag that onto.
Which one? Oh, this one.
Yeah. Okay, just drag that out. Cool. And just let that go. You wanna jump into Blarp?
Yeah, sure.
There you go.
Right, here we go.
And then I get to man the chat while this is happening. Let us know in the chat if it's too loud. I'm gonna turn it down if needed.
So, what's that? Whoa. Wow. What is that? Whoa. It's pretty trippy.
Dude, Blarp is trippy.
Am I trying to?
See, yeah, you wanna hit. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and just, I guess to give you instructions, because I don't think it does. You wanna keep hitting all those objects there, and it's exactly like a slingshot, but you can't let the balls hit your controller.
Oh, if they hit my controller.
Yeah, you lose. And so
So
you can use
wild.
the shield to block stuff from actually hitting your controller. And you wanna like slingshot, yeah, that stuff. There you go.
Nice.
It is a pretty psychedelic experience.
Yeah. Oh man, when you get so many of them, they like start hitting each other. Whoa.
And then it becomes tricky.
I see. Dude, this is pretty rad, man.
No.
There's such a like so much potential for just building really weird worlds.
But
I'm
I'm
sure.
sure.
Oh.
Is that a wall?
I don't. Oh, I might not have set. I set it up for standing, so chaperone might be off. But you. Yeah, there you
What's
go.
your high score on this? I think it's a 15.
Yeah, I think 15.
Pretty
About
impressive.
right. A lot of it is like all about control and.
Oh, Alright, dude.
You got this.
There you go. Alright. Let's see it. Let's see it.
Just need to be very cautious.
And not hit walls. I mean, you got the shield also, so like, make sure to just go ahead.
How we doing sometimes?
I think we're good.
I'm still setting up the Rift side right now, so feel free to go ham while this is happening.
Cool.
Oh yeah, Stonefox also mentioned that the really cool thing about Blarp is that it's open source, so you can go ham
Oh,
and explore it.
nice. That's really cool.
Yeah, but even if it's open source, you gotta support the developer. It's only like I think $3, so
This is definitely worth $3. Worth more.
Worth more.
Like, think about it. How much would you pay for an entire
that's a good question
That's how I
actually.
think of VR. Anytime I don't want to pay for something, I'm like, it's another one. That's not easy to make.
That deep quotes by Hassan. good to know. I'm not sure why. I upgraded the server this morning, but sometimes Amazon just tends to like mess with me for whatever reason. I'll keep it in mind next time. One thing I want to do is update the networking side of things on the website. And I think there might be something running in the background that's causing issues, but hopefully it's not terrible. Alright. Oh, getting close though to dying. I have no idea what your score is right now. Oh, there you go. I was like, what? So that's the really weird thing. It's like you totally have depth perception there, and I was like, I think you hit it. I'm not sure.
Okay. Got it.
Oh damn. Uh-oh.
I'm 16 now.
Well, you beat my high score. Alright, let's definitely. I think I'm set up here, so let's test out and see if we can get the Rift and Vive connected.
Oh, you're already done with the USB?
Yeah. I think so. So let's see. Set this up, get that running. Should be the exact same code. Controllers. Oh, I see him. I see you. I don't know if you see me. I guess I'm behind you.
I'm still getting ready.
I'm gonna fight you.
Am I a Pikachu?
Oh, here's the spear.
Oh yeah, I stopped it.
Okay, there you are. Hello, Pikachu.
Oh hey.
Wow. Your controllers
Pretty
are
cool.
huge. I think that's I messed with the scale a little bit.
I'm not sure that I'm in the right frame.
Yeah, I mean I see you
Alright, we're like 2 feet away from each other so we don't bump into each other. In the real world.
in the real life. It's like, yeah, I gotta make sure. It's like, wait, does that?
Yeah.
Is that actually? No, that's not touching in the room.
Like,
Okay, but I mean that's just configuration.
we're still
which
here
is,
though.
Was
Hey.
I had time to add the forest in and then actually just throw cubes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think we have to like debug it some more to figure out why the forest scene wasn't working with this.
Yeah.
I think it just might be. I think it might just be like some things like the throwing cubes was in that one, but not in this one, which might have been causing some issues. Move this down. But yeah, we definitely know now that it's working with SteamVR and that worked. You saw our hands moving. You saw, hopefully, actually I have no idea what they saw, but I think you double checked that to make sure that was working.
What's up? Double check.
Or people in the chat hopefully saw what was going on. So
Oh.
cool. So at this point, let's dump this code into the forest scene and see. Let's just get the network settings right for that. I'm gonna go ahead and find the hand painted forest. And actually, no. First thing we're gonna do is actually, before we go to the forest scene, I wanna network our cube to put that in the scene. And then use the VR toolkit to basically grab that and move that around positionally. And that's also not terribly hard, so let's do that. So just gonna go into game object, go to cube, just get a cube. Let's set that at, whoops. Set that at 0, 0, 0, get a 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. Move this around, say like maybe there. And I'm going to just quickly create, I want to see what it looks like with the Pikachu. That looks, dude, do you see this?
What?
This is with the Pikachu material on it.
Anything that like hasn't been like when you just look at like before it gets mapped onto something.
Yeah,
it's just so,
it's
creepy
so
looking.
weird.
Like faces.
Oh
When you see
god,
them
yeah,
before
they're
they've been
so
mapped.
weird. Let's call this red cube. I just want to make a quick red material on this. Here we go, red, and we'll just drag and drop that on. Just get something a bit more colorful a little bit. So we have a red cube, and I'll just call this the throw cube. So same deal as the other ones, we just need to put a photon view on them, and then we also want to put a photon transform view, and we'll keep track of the position and rotation, and go ahead and observe it. And we'll do unreliable on change. I think that's actually no, we'll just do unreliable. I think that'll work. So yeah, that's our cube. It's gonna be tracked. We will have to make some edits to it, but for the most part that's fine. And then the next thing we gotta do is add the VR toolkit onto it. So let's go into the VRTK. I'm just gonna quickly go into the example. I believe it was this one. Let's save this. Yeah, you want to hop into this one?
And the what? one?
Testing out the VR toolkit right now. Go ahead and hit play there. Alright, so basically, let me maximize this so that people can see what's going on. So it's describing these controllers, and so pretty much the way this scene is set up, and StoneFox can explain a lot more about what's going on, but pretty much all that's set up is you just go in, use the grips on the side to select it, and you can throw them. Oh. Not enough space, and this is the problem of not calibrating enough beforehand. Oop. Oh. The Steam, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah.
Nice.
So
Pretty cool.
this is built in. There's a decent amount of code that went into it, so that's why the benefit of using an awesome plugin like VRTK. But yeah, you can toss them. They get highlighted if you want. There's a bunch of different things that are going on here. So we're going to basically use this code for our cube.
Can you restart me?
Yeah.
Get something oriented differently.
Let's go ahead and jump into that again. Yeah. Problem of not calibrating.
Yeah.
Or actually, one thing. Here, let me move. Let me move everything virtually
Okay.
towards you. I think that'll be. It's probably right in your face.
Yeah.
Now.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. There you go. Can you juggle? So
God, I can't even juggle in real life.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, you trying to juggle? I was like, what?
Well, this like it works. I just can't juggle.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
I can juggle with one thing.
Nice.
Alright, awesome.
Cool. So that's like already all working for us, so we just gotta use it. Let's go ahead and do that. For this specifically, what I want to do is there are like I think all I have to do is add. I can't remember. I think it was the VRTK interact grab is all I need to add. So I'm just gonna copy that, and we'll move that onto our network scene. And then for the objects to be interactable, we need to add a interactable component to it. And let's not save, and go into here, go into our left controller, paste, yeah, all of this stuff is there, and same deal with the right controller, paste, and on the throw cube, what we're going to do is we're going to add a VRTK interactable object. There we go. And my face is blocking this, I'm sure. Let's move this up. Or, sorry, not an interactable object. That doesn't look right. Interact grab. No, these don't look right either. I'm gonna go hop back into that scene just to make sure I am using the right script. Not prefab examples. basic object grab, save. And on this guy, what do we have? We have interactable. So yeah, let's just go ahead and actually we'll go ahead and do the copy the one for the cube and copy that, and then go back to our network scene, throw cube, and paste this new. Cool. So it's this script here. I'm gonna move this up just so that everyone can see it without my face blocking the way. But we basically have an interactable object, and at this point, pretty much, if you wanna try throwing that cube around, we can do that in this scene.
Right, let's do it.
Yeah, it should be in the play space. There you go.
Oh, nice.
So should be able to grab it and toss it. Ah, okay. So for
Ah,
that,
yeah.
we need to add a rigid body. So let's just go ahead and do that real quick. I'm gonna just go and add a component, and this is going to be a rigid body. Go ahead and again move that up so you guys can see it.
Gravity on it.
I'm about to take gravity off of it so that you can
Yeah.
it's not infinitely falling.
I'm gonna have to be really fast on this.
Yeah. All right, let's try that out now. I can't remember if I have to add. Nice. All right. Bye-bye. This is why I spawned the cubes before, because once you throw it, it's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's basically working there. And we can make a prefab of it so that we can spawn some a little later. I'm just gonna drag and drop that in, and that's gonna be observed, and that's also networked. The thing that we basically have to keep in mind, and I'm gonna write the code here, and then again we're gonna transfer it over. It's not the most optimal thing right now, but it's what we have to work with. So for this, whenever I grab it, I need to become the owner of it. And you'll see here, there's this owner field in the photon view. Let me move this up a little bit. There's this owner field in the photon view, and that represents who actually owns the object, whether it's me, whether it's someone else on the network, could be everyone, doesn't really matter. But when we grab it, we need to become the owner of it. So let's just write that script real fast. Or actually, since it's such a small script and a lot of it is basically syntax, I'm just going to drag in the change owner script that I've already written, and I'll just show that to you guys. So basically what this is here, photon.monoBehavior, and that represents, again, anything that is an interactable object that we want to track on the network. Then what we have is the VRTK interactable object. So we just get a reference to that, call that toss. And the super cool part is there are a bunch of events that you can use to basically track when an object's grabbed, when it's released, when it's being held, all of that good stuff. So that we're subscribing our method here for called toss interactable object grab. That was just kind of the default name that we got. And we also, so whenever we grab an object, we're going to call this line right here, which says toss.getComponent on view. We could actually, depending on where you put change owners, like you could say call it toss, or you could call it like photon view dot. Doesn't really matter either way. And then you call transfer ownership. So that's the key line right there, and that you say is transfer the ownership to me. And then there's one thing we have to fix on the photon view itself to enable this method to actually work, which we'll do in a second. And then the last thing I do is, just so that we don't kill the network, we're going to delete the object after 10 seconds, just to make sure, like, if we're spawning a bunch of things, like, we're able to clear it out. So that's what that thing's doing right there. So let's go ahead and go back to our throw cube. Come on. Throw cube, we're just going to drag and drop our change owner script onto here. And let me know in the chat if you want me to pull that script up again, if you want to copy that down. Just go ahead change owner is what I'm gonna do, and then we're gonna move up. Yeah, that's fine. We'll apply it later. Move up. There are definitely a lot of scripts being in play right now. Just drag our interactable object onto there. And then the other thing we want to do is on our photon view, we're going to change this from fixed to take over. So whenever I ask to take ownership of it, I become the owner of it. So that's it for the photon view. That's it for change owners. That's it for interactable object. And we have all of those together working. We can throw that, and then it gets deleted after 10 seconds. And yeah, so that's pretty much this part of it. If we're going to transfer the code, and after we kind of complete the last part, which is basically spawning objects. Not terribly complicated, but something we can do. But before we do that, I'm going to actually go ahead and move this onto the hand-painted forest, just so that we're in a lot nicer of a scene. Moving this doesn't actually matter as far as like if you're following along and want to try to connect. That the actual forest scene doesn't really affect that. So I'm just going to go into here. It's called demo scene. I'm going to press Control D to duplicate and go into drag that into the assets. I'm going to rename this as forest scene. And the reason I'm taking the scene as opposed to like moving all the assets in is because the scene has a lot of lighting properties that are already incorporated into it, so we can take advantage of that. And so the other thing we're going to do is just go ahead, Control C those, go ahead and save that, move to where that first person controller is, and then actually before that I'm just going to create a game object called trees. Oops. Just call that trees, and then we're going to drag and drop all those trees in. And then we're going to go ahead, get rid of the first person controller, and then paste all of that stuff in. We're going to actually need to move it real fast, straight towards like right here, esque. Just pick any spot, like somewhere in the middle. That's where it looks the best. Make sure it's like a little above ground. And yeah, that's pretty much that. We're now in the forest scene, and everything is pretty much set up the way we want it to be. Only thing really left to do now is just spawn the cubes. How are we doing on time? 11:30? That well, perfect. So yeah, so the only thing really now left to do is spawn cubes, and that also isn't terribly difficult. Let's just go ahead, create our. Whoop, God, we got the office falling apart. not spawn. What did I type? I don't even know.
There's got to be like a VR earthquake simulator.
There, I know at Stanford there is one.
Oh yeah. We tried that.
And the benefit with Stanford is that they have the ambisonics built in, and like before, like they have these like flight metals underneath that like reverberate really well. I forgot what the name of them is, but like it really makes it feel like an earthquake. And like even like when you're downstairs, because the lab is located on the 5th floor, even when you're downstairs, you know when that's happening because like the whole place is shaking. Cool. So we can create our spawn cubes. Again, actually no, for this we're fine. All we're really gonna do is go ahead, go back here. We're gonna go to my favorite script in the world, which is called an extras test throw. And the reason it's my favorite script in the world is because I can never remember the syntax. So go ahead, and for this, again, use our handy dandy Vive manager to get our instance dot left hand dot get component Steam VR tracked object and put the parens, and we'll call this left device. Cool. Oh, and I guess now that I'm like thinking about it and just like setting up a bunch of code, we also do need to add in the voice, which also is not terribly difficult. And then this one is right hand. Alright, left and right device, get rid of the joint property. Add in left device touchdown or right device dot touchdown. So we're just going to copy this part here. And this one's just right device. And cool. So that's that part. And then we just need a access to our prefab, which is just going to be public game not. I'm surprised there's something called game logic. Cube prefab, and we're gonna go ahead and just say photon network dot instantiate cube prefab dot name. So again, the name is so that you can get it from resources. That's the reason for that. And we're actually just gonna want to go ahead and copy the position and rotation. So for this, actually, all we'll do here is just copy that, and then copy rotation. Rotation 0. Cool. And let me go ahead copy this part here for the right device. Oh, whoops.
Yo, we should talk about cool design choices we saw at Connect. That'd be
Okay.
a fun topic.
All right, you
when we
wanna?
get a chance.
We're setting this up here. There's a bunch of like simple code, but let me finish setting this up, and then we'll go ham on that topic.
Because there's lots of, I mean, trying out so many demos and things that were pretty new and different. There's tons we could talk about.
Yeah, I
Design
like
decisions.
having not played around with the touch a lot. Like
Yeah.
there are definitely things I notice with the touch that I don't notice with the controllers.
Totally.
And that's I think a pretty important topic. Like as much as I love using, well, I mean you can use Steam VR for the Oculus Touch, but I think you need to like add in some special cases in order for it to work better with the touch. So yeah, so I think at this point let's go ahead and test this out, and then we can talk about that because I think we can pretty much just copy this code over just so that we'll do that copy again and then talk about that stuff. The only thing I have to do is just make sure we have our spawn cube script attached, which I'm just going to do right now, and just drag and drop spawn cubes onto here. Why not? Oh, I changed the name again because I can't talk. Alright, spawn cubes, go into here, just make sure that compiles. There we go, and then we just have to add in our prefabs, resources, throw cube. So let's just go ahead and do that. Perfect. Alright, so we're spawning cubes. Let's just make sure, you want to test this out just to make sure you can pick things up and throw them. Oops. Alright, so that is nice Pikachu.
Nice.
Alright, so he can,
I can definitely spawn.
and then he can definitely, they all get deleted, they interact with each other. And after 10 seconds, they should all disappear.
Okay, here, I'll leave this one. I realized I just got. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
21,030.
I don't know why the network dropped there, but hopefully that doesn't cause too many issues. But
Is the stream still going? Oh yeah.
just to give you guys a quick update, what ended up happening is I moved the whole camera rig like super far away for this specific scene. Like he saw me off in the distance, and now he's moved himself over. So now if I hit play, we should be able to see each other, hopefully.
We might be on top of each other.
We may be.
I think I'm seeing a Pikachu thing.
You see
Yeah,
that?
it's
Nice.
like-
There he
Okay,
is.
I'm gonna not be at 21,030, but I'll be.
Oh, am I
close.
right on top of you?
It looked like it.
Oh, okay. You're actually in the perfect spot for me.
Okay. Now I moved a bit.
Let's see where you are.
Yeah. Awesome. I see you. Turn to your left.
You might be in a mountain, like in the
Oh.
mountain range here.
Okay, so let me.
But as long as you
my
spawn,
Y
that's.
is at 0, so I'm gonna put it up a bit. Oh, you're in the forest.
Yeah, I'm in the forest, which explains why.
Guys, I'm about to fly.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Okay. Oh gosh, I'm too high. Wait, I'm coming back.
Oh, I see. Hey.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna be a little bit closer. Okay, there I am.
You're still flying off in the sky. What's
yeah,
up?
Still floating, but this is the closest that we've been.
No. It's like if I be hilarious if I chuck my thing up there, it starts flying and hits the ceiling.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. All right, cool. I think at this point, let me get you the code, and then we can start throwing cubes at each other.
Yeah, sure. So let's do that. I'll maybe start talking about some of the cool design stuff we saw.
Yeah, you have the USB.
Yeah, it's right here. So yeah, Connect was cool because we got to try out tons of demos. Also, like, everyone could try out touches too, which is really awesome. And there were just some cool decisions that they made around design that I think we could learn a lot from. One really cool thing with Eagle Flight is that it's like pretty well known that if you're like accelerating or traveling at like high speeds with lots of changes in direction, that people can get motion sick very easily. So something that they did in Eagle Flight is whenever you're turning or accelerating really fast, you actually get this, like, it sort of looks like an eye is closing in, like you get like this closed frame so that you have something around your viewpoint that is static. And the research around that shows that, you know, if you're going to accelerate someone or make them move very quickly in VR, at least give them like a steady thing that's next to them that's like stable and not moving so that they get less sick. So that's what they did, and I thought that it was pretty cool. Did you notice that at all?
Still
Vasant?
broken, actually.
It's broken.
The internet.
Oh dang.
Says I'm streaming. No. I'm wondering. Let me jump in to. YouTube. It says I'm live. They might have to refresh.
Yeah. I think my chat went.
Yeah, the chat is separate of YouTube, so it should work. Oh, it's right there.
Oh,
Classic. Classic ads. Yeah, it's going through.
yeah. Okay.
Alright, yeah, I think it's, well, if we post in the chat that you might have to refresh. Which, yeah, I think the internet just stopped here for a second, and that caused issues, but looks fine now. Hopefully you mentioned that in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think it's working now.
Cool. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show and Explorer, multiplayer stream, and then just copy this guy over to my USB. Yeah. So sorry, you were saying?
So just design stuff. So with Eagle Flight, it was cool that whenever you're moving fast or changing direction, it looks like your eye is closing a little bit. So like you have a frame of reference that's stable and not moving. Like research has found that stops people from getting sick. So it's really cool that they like added that.
Yeah, I mean we did a video, not a stream, a while back where we definitely went over it, and you do notice a difference.
Yeah.
I think they did it a lot better because like the way that was kind of working is if you tilt like this and like this, and that like turns you, and I think it's an acceleration turn almost.
Yeah.
And as a result, what they do is only on one side will they blind you. They won't close the other side. And I thought that was surprisingly interesting. Like and there are also times when you're just like diving and then everything gets closed out. But definitely for this, they tweaked it ever so slightly, and I'm not sure if that was the only thing they did. I'm wondering if they did other things.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be really surprising if that's all that they did because for how much movement and just crazy flight there is,
Yeah.
it's so comfortable. So there might be other things that are going on there.
I'll say I did get a little sick towards the course. I sorry, I could feel some sickness coming on,
Yeah.
but like it was like definitely hours out. Like it didn't like instantly get me sick,
Yeah.
which was interesting.
I think another cool design decision, let's see, I need to touch in a Vive controller. So, for anyone that's felt the Vive, I mean, it's like pretty hefty, the controller. Like when you pick it up, you know that something's in your hand. The touch is a lot lighter. And something that was cool as a design choice that they had for the first person shooters is that to hold on to your gun, they require you to press down your middle finger. Like to my knowledge, I mean it's not necessary. Like it's just something that they've decided they want everyone done. So if you're holding on to your gun, you need to have like a firm grip on everything. If you want to let go, you just like release. And that actually felt really good. Like I liked that they added that in there.
Yeah.
As opposed to like usually they had this be the button to shoot something. So like they could have chosen to just have a shoot interaction, but they also decided to make you hold down the middle button to keep the gun in your hand, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll say like one thing though that is like probably the biggest difference here was like throwing, and I think we might see this a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know why, but like when you go to, I guess this is the grip button, right?
Yeah.
This is what this button here maps to the grips on the Vive, and so like when you let go, I feel honestly you should force the users to hold down the trigger, and the reason for that is because if I don't, and I go like this, I can definitely see my hand flying out.
Yeah, that's true.
That you don't get that on the Vive at all, because I'm holding here, and it's just like boom.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing if you're like trying to make things cross-platform and you have some like throwing mechanic. I can have like when we were playing Dead and Buried and then I tossed you the gun,
Yeah.
I was like, this is about to fly out of my head.
Yeah.
And like I like didn't throw it as hard as I wanted to, and as a result, he comes out from cover, and he gets shot out. And
Yeah.
it was bad.
I didn't even get the gun.
Yeah, you didn't even get the gun disappeared, which
Yeah.
is sad.
I mean, it's cool that you bring up the topic of throwing because
I mean,
that's
just what we're
something.
doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's with something that is like a real world object, you know, not just like a red cube, but something that you have some sense of how it works already. It's so hard to do throwing with it. Like the cards, it worked, but it's still kind of weird because like
I think I
you
got
expect
used
to feel
to
a
that.
little
So the cards, I thought they used the grips for throwing. They didn't use the trigger,
bit. Yeah, they did.
and that I think worked.
The guns too.
So it's
I
like
think.
it was like this motion, and then my hand felt fine.
Yeah.
But like, if I'm like throwing out like this, it's like this is gonna fly out of my hand, and
Yeah.
that I thought was a problem.
There was also, I don't know if you tried the they had a sports simulator game, and that's just tough
yeah.
because it's like they had people shooting basketballs.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, regardless of what controller you're using, that's really hard to do. One cool thing though that I didn't get to try out is they said that you can modulate the like types of vibration on the touch.
That was cool.
That should be pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't think the SteamVR SDK lets you do that,
Yeah.
but
But just to summarize, the basic concept was that they said you could send your own like wave pattern for how you want to modulate the vibration pattern on the controller itself. So that'll be really cool for haptic feedback.
for sure. Let's go ahead and
you want to get this set up, because I don't know which
Yeah.
USB port it is.
Sure. Did you just give me a Unity project?
Yeah, same
Okay.
thing. Same thing as last time. Yeah, so I think that was really cool. I think you have to use the Oculus SDK for that, and there might be talks that are coming out as far as that's concerned. But definitely both really cool devices. That's the one thing of that. It's like they're very different, and like that was my hunch, and I wish I had my own personal pair of touches to play around with, but they're still both amazing devices, and super glad that Oculus is gonna be putting them out. Do you remember they announced? It's December, right?
I don't remember actually. It's soon.
It's soon. I think it's sometime in December, which if I get one for free, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I think at this point we're just gonna while that's getting set up, I don't think I'm gonna add the code in right now, but for voice, one thing I'll talk about really fast. I think I have the line of code somewhere. So for voice, what you're gonna need is there's this like really quirky line that I'm trying to find. Yeah, here it is. So in your network manager, what you're gonna need is this line right here. And really all that's doing is just activating the voice network client. And so it's a super simple line, but super important if you're ever wondering why your Photon voice isn't working. I'm gonna go ahead, save. Obviously, since we're using the same play space, which is not recommended, but since we are doing that, like we have our voices right next to each other, so it doesn't make too much sense to add the voice in. But this is what you'll need, and then you'll also need to, on your avatar, so you can go here, what you'll need to add is the voice. So I feel like I'm automatically just doing this right now, but we're not syncing it.
When you get a chance, someone wants to see the Vive manager.
Oh yeah, for sure. At that one, let's just do that right now. So super simple. All we're really doing here is just making it a singleton with awake and destroy, and then we just have the three public variables there for game object, hand, left hand, and right hand. And so those just give us access to that. Which scene are you? I want to go to the forest scene.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, there's a forest scene. So hopefully that's helpful. I'll probably put out another video maybe next week, maybe not, we'll see, on what Tilt Brush uses for their change hands, which I think is so cool. It's like you take your Vive or Rift controllers and you just go like this. Actually, I have no idea how that feels on the Rift, but you just go like this and then it switches over. Spawn them? Alright.
Yeah.
So let me
Being tracked correctly.
let me jump in and see. We should, for the most part, have it. I see cubes that you're spawning. I have no idea where you are relative to me. Oh god. All of the
We're probably
cubes.
like on top. Oh yeah, we're very close.
Alright.
Oh dude, it's so cool seeing you move around.
Dude, that's the power of social VR right there.
Yeah.
But like all your cubes are like 2x.
Oh,
bigger
that's
than
another
everyone, too.
thing. Stuff at Connect. They're so excited about social VR at Oculus. They're doing a lot of work on that. It'd be cool to see.
How many cubes do you have spawned? A lot. Yeah, that's what it looks like. I'm gonna take a few steps back. Alright, those cubes should be gone soon,
Yeah.
I think.
So now I don't really see too many.
I could still do. I'm gonna restart because I think
There are way too many cubes happening right now. Alright. That looks a lot calmer.
Alright.
Alright, cool.
Yep, I see you.
Yeah, alright. I think my cubes are a bit too big. Or I think my scales are
Yeah,
off
your
somehow.
scale's huge.
Yeah, I think
I
that's the problem.
I haven't been able to see any of your cubes yet.
I
But your
haven't
control.
spawned any.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it now.
Like my cubes are huge. I think what happened here is
I
the
want one
scale.
of them.
It's like, yeah, and that's what's causing issues is the fact that the scales are way off.
Yeah.
I think that's just a really small. Oh, you caught it.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so I think this is like gonna 2x every time we do
Yeah.
this.
Like I have it right now.
Oh god, and then he spawned all of the cube. Alright, so I think the scale issue, we'll fix the scale issue. I know where it's coming from. It was the fact that the Pikachu I spawned was, the prefabs are, so in here, we can see that this is halved. That scale doesn't come through it, and it becomes 1, 1, 1, 1, and as a result, messes with everything. So actually, what we're gonna want to do is make these 50, 50, 50, and the scale here 1, 1, 1. Same deal with this guy. That I think was set to 1. We'll fix that in a bit. And scale is obviously super important in VR. That's just a thing. And then set these guys down to 1. Alright. Hopefully better now. At least on my end. I can't say
Yeah.
about your end. Yeah.
Jump back in.
Oh, now you're trying. But I see you. But I think you're, yeah, this is the right size that you're supposed to be.
Let me grab my controller.
Yeah, I didn't fix the cube sizes, but and that's why they're like, I think the physics here, okay, I need to disable physics on my end, which is what's happening. So these are all like little tweaks that we'll need to do, but like, we'll get rid of that.
Oh, so on the touch, it's spawning cubes just when I touch the button, not when I pull.
What do you mean touch?
Like
Or
just when I contact it.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting right there. Alright, let's see. On this guy, I want to make the scale 1, 1, 1. So that's scaled appropriately. But then I'm gonna get rid of the box collider here. And like that. Oh, come on. So yeah, these cubes are big. Alright, I'm gonna actually I changed my mind. I'm gonna bring it back down in scale. And we do need the box colliders, it looks like. Cool. At this point, we're just kind of tinkering around. So it's about 12, so I'm gonna wrap it up. But like for the most part, we kind of like have this like figured out.
Yeah.
And like
Can I
that.
jump in too? Oh, I can see. Oh, I'm still in.
Yeah, you are. It's like I see your little Pikachu face.
Yeah.
And obviously, like yeah, you would always want to like sync out the or sync up the scales and everything like that. Like that's just a thing that we need to change.
Yeah.
I think I'm sending giant cubes to you,
Yeah.
which is like a really weird thing when you like think about it. It's like Attack of the Cubes.
Yeah. They can't even escape this forest, dude. Are there colliders on the trees?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
It's like oops. I can't throw for the life of me. Like yeah, it'll hit there.
Nice.
You can add drag. You can add a bunch of different effects. Send that spinning around. And there are a lot of like that's why I really like Photons. It makes it super simple, like not that much code, and you can get a lot of things working.
Impressive.
Yeah, I think let me go ahead and drop these down. But anything else in the chat?
Doesn't look like it. Let me check.
Maybe the chat crashed because I don't. Again, Amazon ruining me with the website.
No, we look good on the chat.
The cubicle. Yeah, it takes like a few seconds, I think, for the chat to post. Something's acting a little slow.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a lot of people. But I'm gonna figure that issue out for next time.
Maybe in the future I'll just move back to YouTube. I don't know. We'll see. Something I still need to work out. It seemed to work well last time, but not as much this time.
Yeah.
Just interesting. Let's see. Anything? Guys. Spawn vector. Oh, nice. Someone was able to connect in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let's.
I'll get back in there and find them.
Yeah. Obviously, I didn't add the voice chat in, but it's like a few more steps, and we would have that. I see a third pair of no.
That's you, I think.
That's me. Yeah, I think he said he's like off somewhere.
Throw a cube into the sky.
I
Like
see
a
3
fire.
avatars spawned though, so there is someone somewhere. Yeah, throw a cube in the sky. Flare. It's a giant flare. Looks like he disconnected. I think he wants. But spawn vector 3 right times 2. Ah, gotcha. If you want our position is right here in the transform. So see if you can join in there. Whoops, I lost tracking. Whatever. Giant flare.
Also turned off the. Oh yeah, I see him.
Where?
I just turned off my trees and terrain.
Oh, I saw.
To your right, left. Oh no, he popped out, but he was here. Or Pikachu was here.
Pikachu. There's the cube. There's the spawn point.
But they were definitely here.
Nice. Someone was able to ball off. That's it. I think that I wanted to space out the breaks so that was possible, and it looks like it was.
Yeah, that's pretty rad.
You said you turned off the trees. Just
Yeah, so I turned off the terrain and trees so that I could see everything.
Gotcha. Yeah,
And the person was like, sort of the direction that you're looking, but about,
I thought I saw controllers in that direction. But I
yeah,
don't-
like a little bit to your right, maybe like 45 degrees, yeah, like there. And then like someone was like 100 meters out.
He's in the initial setup scene. That's why. Yeah. If you move your transform around, you'll like to around like that area that we're looking at. You should be able to connect, and we'll be in the close-ish area. I can turn off my trees and terrain also, just to like make sure. There's the trees off, and then here's the terrain off. All right. Let's see. And I don't see anyone here. Okay, I see you. Let's see if we find that other person. Probably spend a couple more minutes and then
Are
wrap
they
up.
still here?
Not right now. Oh, you lost tracking for a bit.
Yeah, I don't see them either.
We'll give this like a minute more, and then I keep throwing cubes at you. They're probably giant cubes.
They are.
Throw the giganto cubes at you.
It's tough. Every time I see like a flicker,
Oh,
I
you're
can
like
tell if it's like
a cube
the
or
wrist
someone else.
flickering, a cube, or someone else. This is super rad though. I mean, like, if everyone was like done with their thing, they could just pop in.
Yeah.
And all be here together.
Well, I'll leave this running for a little bit and see if we can. If you pop up, wait.
Yeah, I can stay in and monitor.
Yeah. You wanna? Cause now.
The chat looks pretty quiet right now.
Yeah, I think I might have killed the chat, but awesome. All right. So yeah, I think Hassan's gonna be in for a little bit, and we'll see if anything comes in.
Yeah.
But I think at this point, it's time to wrap it up. Apologies if I haven't been paying too much attention to the chat, but it seems like it was a little slow. I'm gonna see if I can fix that for next time. I think it just might be a lot of people excited to actually
Oh, wait.
partake in it. Huh?
Maybe someone also may have just popped in for a second. And then left.
Oh,
They're
just
not
for a
here
second.
anymore.
Okay. Yeah, and I think Hassan will be in there for a few more minutes if you wanna play around. And yeah, well, that's it pretty much for this stream. And you make sure to follow us on Twitter, social media, etc. If you want to see more stuff like this, we're pretty active on there. And yeah, other than that, this is Fuseman coming out from SVVR, and this is Hassan. And Brian wants to run in for last minute for swoop. Say bye.
Where's Brian?
Thanks, guys.
Nice. But yeah, that's the stream, and see you guys all next time. It's been Fuseman,
Thank you.
and I'm signing out.
Nice, nice.
And stop.